Hey guys, and welcome to an episode of Cooking with the Frisbys, or this is Gardening with the Frisbys, as that portion of our channel is starting to get pretty big. Hey guys, so we've given you some updates about our seed starts and things of that nature, and we had a little bit of an issue turn up that I think you saw in the last video where Beth wants her tomato plants to be at least 1.5 to 2 feet tall before she starts to harden them off or even put them into the garden. So what has happened though is when we come over to this seed starting tray, the shelves are too close together. So in the last episode you saw that all those plants were starting to go up into the grow lights, and that's not going to work because it starts to make the tomato plants very leggy and it starts to make them lean over a little bit. If I swing around over here you can actually see some of them on the table, and they're starting to strengthen back up because I took them out of that. But what I'm going to do today, we bought another rack. And you can see what I did here is, and I just want to show you today how I build these racks, because a lot of people have asked me what all goes into building those racks. And it's not a ton, it may be a little time consuming, but I wanted you guys to see exactly what went into it. But you can see what I did on this. When you buy this rack, and I got this at my local Costco, you have the ability to put the shelves at different heights. So instead of this one, which we first started with, is very uniform, what I did for Beth on this one, as you can see, is I made this rack height very tall, that's going to give her tomato plants the ability to grow up. So I guess I got to go through what all do you need to do this. I'm going to turn the GoPro on and let it film me kind of as I do this whole process, but let me show you some of the stuff that you're going to need. So basically what all goes into this seed starting grow rack, besides the rack itself, which we bought, I think it was for 120 bucks at Costco, but these are pretty much all the components that you see laid out here. So I've got plastic, which is going to be the finishing portion of it, but I've got computer fans, which are basically just 12-volt fans that are used in computers, and that helps to simulate the wind that's inside there and circulate the air. Obviously I need a junction plug to plug all these things into. I have the seedling heat mats. Now these heat up to somewhere I think about 75 to 78 degrees, and this is what the trays sit on, and that really helps the plants in the soil to stay warm. The other component that I have here that you see is I have linkable lights, and I like these linkable LED lights because they really, to me, they save on plug space because I can just run them concurrently one into another. And these put out enough, I think it's 6,000 something, I have to look up exactly what that verbiage is. But it has to put out enough heat to simulate the sun for the plants, and that's what those do. So I've got those. I've obviously got some plugs and things because down here in my basement, we don't have a ton of outlets. I hate that the builders did this, and the only way that we can do this for this whole 1,600 square basement down here, there's one plug. So what I typically do is I make sure that everything that I use is LED, pulls a lot of very low amperage so that it doesn't short anything or turn off the breaker. Eventually I'll get some more power down here, but I'm going to have to connect to this power off of this machine, bring it over here, and then start building these things out. Beth wants, I believe, 3 shelves. She wants the bottom one, this one, and this one, and the rest of these will probably be used as storage. So I'm going to go ahead and start setting this up. The other thing that you need, I don't want to forget this, is I went and bought, this is an 8-foot by I think 4-foot piece of styrofoam insulation, and I just went ahead and got this because this is what I use for the back of it, and this is what I use for the shelves to give some extra insulation as well, and that's what those heat mats and such sit on. So I've got my table and everything all set up and ready to go, and like I said, I'm just going to turn the GoPro on and I'm gonna let you guys see, and I'll speak. Hopefully the GoPro, I put a mic on the GoPro now that hopefully with an external mic it'll start to pick up my voice a lot better and it doesn't seem as mumbled. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started, guys. Follow along with the process. I'll start explaining. If you got questions, just post them down in the bottom. This will probably take me about an hour to set up. I have pieces that I'm gonna have to cut for the shelves and measure and all that. So what do you need as far as tools? You probably need a nice straight edge that's gonna cut through that styrofoam insulation. You need to have a table set up, which I have one sitting right here in front of me. And then you need those components. And I always use, I have a pair of like wire cutters that I keep with me that come out of my toolkit. I like things nice and tidy, so when I put those zip ties and I zip tie things together, I like to cut the ends off to make things a little neat. So stick around, it's a fun little project. We are starting to grow a heck of a lot more of our food. We'd love to be able to do that. I suggest you guys do it. It's this freedom to get away from the grocery stores. We find that spring, summertime, I don't even buy any vegetables because we basically eat what we grow. So now we're kind of expanding into what those things are, and hopefully we have success, and hopefully you learn as we do it as well. So stick around, have some fun. You got questions, post them down below. I'm always good at answering, probably within 48 hours. All right, let's get this project started. Hey guys, so you're gonna see, I had the GoPro going and I was talking to it, but then the battery died. So I was getting to the point where I was like, well, let me just go clean up some of these zip ties before I put this backing piece on. So I did, and the way that I did that, Beth, if you can just let them see right here, just come in here. I just punched some holes and I put zip ties on it. That's all I did. So now you see the whole setup, how it works. You see all the junctions, all the fans are working. They're all on the timer, they're all on the CASA app, so I can then go and set the schedule. I don't have pads for the bottom, but we're not growing anything on the bottom right now. That's really just going to be for future use. So it's just these 3 shelves. So it's these three shelves, and the last thing that I have to do is I bought this plastic. I don't know how this is going to fit. It is, let's see, how big was this? It's 6 mil and it's 10 feet by 25 feet. That's a lot of plastic. So I have to unroll this thing and see, it's going to get all that, it's going to get that styrofoam on it, which is annoying. And this was the fight that I had with the last one that I did. I was like, oh my God, how do we get this all undone? So the 10 feet is this way. So probably what I should have done is I take this, just go over the top, and I'll come back and I'll cut the pieces that I don't need. But this is it, folks. I mean, there's nothing sexy about this. I just go through here, and then I come back with good old-fashioned duct tape.
So loud.
Huh?
It's so loud.
I'm sure this is loud in my microphone right now, and I'm so sorry, guys. This is the fight, right? So I'll have to fight with this. I'll have to cut it the way that I want it. Obviously, I'm not going to need all this on the bottom, but there's always use for plastic. I'll come back and I'll show you the finished product, but it's quite literally taking duct tape, cinching this up on the sides, duct taping it, and then once I have it exactly where I want it, I'll come with like a straight edge and just like cut, just so that we have the ability to pick this up and flip it over the top.
Like we have on the other one.
Like we have on the other one. So, guys, that is how you build a seed starting station. It took me an hour and 17 minutes to do this. I probably would have gone a little faster. It's not including the cleanup time, because then I go clean all this styrofoam up because Beth's going to yell at me for tracking it upstairs.
It's a mess. Oh, I can't even.
You can't do that. So that's it, folks. That's a seed starting station. Number 2 for us. I'm going to get this plastic cut and put on here, get these tomato plants put back on. And I know Beth's going to have some more things that she puts, so I bet you that bottom rack's going to need some heating pads too. But guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate the patience. That's how you do it. All that's for probably about $200. You'll enjoy it. There's no excuses. Get to growing your food. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you build a grow rack. And it is done. And the toughest part, and I didn't make you see it, and I think you're going to see some of it, like putting the plastic on just requires a lot of duct taping and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you want it to be perfect, I'm sure you could get it perfect, but it just doesn't have to be, you know, and I wouldn't worry so much about it. So, guys, this is it. That's how you do it. I think these tomato plants are going to be a heck of a lot happier now than they were. Beth's got some other growing areas that she can do, which I understand now. I guarantee you I'm going to end up putting lighting and fans on every single one of these racks. I guarantee you, because if Beth has room to grow, we're going to grow. And we're going to get ourselves off the food grid, is what I like to call it. So Again, guys, thanks for sticking with me on this one. It was probably very boring. Hopefully I sped some things up to get you through it, but pretty proud of it. That's rack number 2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.